Hey guys, how are we all? I hope you're all having a fantastic week and you're well. This is Clench now, back again, bringing you another Apex Legends video. And pretty much I wanted to make this video to go over a few things that I think, in my own opinion, will make you improve at Apex Legends. So these tips should be good for both if you're either playing with a pre-made squad or you're playing with just randoms. Now, I've been playing this game since it first came out, and oh my god, what a ride it's been. Amazing game. We're in season 4 now, and that journey, guys, from then to now, like, I've made a lot of mistakes. A lot of them. But I've also done some pretty great and cool things too. But, you know, I've learned from all those bad plays I've done for sure. Practiced a lot, figured out different things, and, you know, I got better and better along the way. So you might want to watch this video a couple of times. Try and get a few of these things second nature to you, or write them down. Try and think about some of these tips when you come across them in game and put them to play. I'm going to have some pretty cool gameplay playing in the background right now, and some stunning stuff right at the end. It's pretty crazy, so stay tuned. And anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. Big tip number 1, play every legend. Now, I know most of you guys have probably played every single legend in Apex before. Some of you may have not, that's fine. But whether you have or you haven't, guys, I highly recommend that you jump into the firing range, give them all a go, find their strengths, find their weaknesses, and know them in and out. So knowing your enemy, this is going to give you advantage when you're in game and you're fighting them. So for an example, and what I mean by this, say if you're versing a Gibraltar in a match and he throws down his dome shield. So maybe you've played with him a few times, or you've been to the firing range and you kind of know exactly when that dome shield's going to disappear now. Like, you figured out the timing, you got it cracked. So when you're versing him in the in-game match now, you know exactly when it's going to disappear, and you can kind of plan and make your move from there. It'll give you a bit more of a drop and advantage over that. Okay, or like season 4, you know, we're in that now, and Revenant's just come out, and Revenant has his ultimate, which is like death protection. And sometimes, you know, full squads can push you and they'll all be in the death protection. And going into the firing range and figuring out that, okay, this death protection has a radius. There's only so far they can go, and once they move out of it, they'll no longer be under that anymore, so they can't respawn. So maybe you like get them to chase you out, like bait them out of the zone of the death protection, and then they're all in normal HP, and you can get those knocks and you can get those kills. So that's what I kind of mean by that. Big tip number 2, pick your fights. Now, I like to play for champion, guys, especially with skill-based matchmaking coming in. These normal Apex games for me are a lot like ranked, and the squads are a lot harder, they're more switched on, and like I'm constantly sweating just playing normal Apex games. So we'll take this tip here, like pick your fights. We'll take this into a huge consideration, because you can already pick whether you want to have a fight or not while you're in the dropship, when the game just begins. And you have hot drops, and like a lot of the time there'll be places where no squads are landing. So if I'm Jump Master, I'll try and drop my squad safely into a place where there's no squads landing, but I know that there'll be, you know, some fairly good loot there. We'll go in and we'll loot up. Now, if we like go to a place where, you know, there's another squad, we have a 50% chance of winning against that other squad. It just goes to 50-50. So our chances of winning the entire game have already gone to 50% within the first 10 seconds. So we try and eliminate that, so that's not so much of a thing. Or even after we've looted up, say we get there safely, and after we've looted up, we'll see how everyone, you know, what everyone's got. We'll swap out if we need to on equipment, and we'll keep moving on our rotation. Now, if we're coming across a squad, or we know there's like, you know, an enemy squad next door, do we need to take it? Do we not need to take it? Like, we'll ask ourselves, do we have good body shields right now? Do we need better ones? So if we need like better body shields, maybe a bit more like light ammo or heavy ammo or something, we'll probably take a fight then to loot up a bit better, or, you know, to take a position. Maybe someone holds a really cool position like at the end game or something like that, and we'll fight then because we absolutely need it to win the game. But we'll try and take like as minimal fights as possible and keep working on our rotations, which we'll get into a bit later on, and getting the advantage over the enemy. Big tip number 3, don't get tunnel vision and stick with your squad. Now, we probably all know what I'm talking about here, guys. We probably had that one teammate that was with us just a minute ago, and now he's off on his own fighting a squad, or a squad's found him and he is down. So that can happen, like if you're not sticking with your squad, like another squad will see you on your own and see that as a perfect advantage to get a kill. And just like that, you're gone, and then it's up to the other two teammates whether they want to, you know, rescue you or not, which puts you kind of like in a bad position. So from now, like when we start, or when we take any fights, we like to assess the situation, see what's going on. You know, how many squads are there? Is there 1 or 2 squads? Is there 3 squads? Are we going to get third partied after this? Like, what part of the map are we in? Are people going to be rotating here soon? Like, what round are we in? Do we even have enough time to take this fight? So, like, us thinking about that is not getting tunnel vision, but trying to, you know, make smart plays. So we kind of want to stick, you know, within, like, I like to say 10 seconds of your other players, so you can get to them and help them out, you know, as quick as possible if needed. So that's what I kind of mean by that. And it's great, like 3 guns deals way more damage than 1 gun, and you're off on your own and trying to, you know, 1v3. Big tip number 4, disengaging, repositioning, and high ground advantages. So guys, you can disengage from a fight. A lot of the times you can get out and you're pretty okay, but you might be a little weak. And when I will disengage is probably if we're getting third party. So like if there's more than 10 squads left in a match, you have a high chance of getting third party. But if we are getting third partied, like we'll fall right back and we'll try and heal up and assess the situation. And most of the time those squads will continue like fighting each other. And maybe one squad betters the other one, takes them out, or at least makes them weak. So you now have 6 guns that you got to fight as opposed to 3. So if that other squad takes out that squad, you know, the third party takes out the original squad you're fighting, then you're back to 3 guns again, and they're probably weak. So you can come in, clean up the scraps, and keep moving along for that end goal of champion. Another time we'll disengage is if, like, say I'm on my own, or like the squad gets split up. So say we go into a fight now and some players are really good and they can split up a squad, and we're all split up, we're kind of running around everywhere. Like, I'll disengage if I come across 2 players at once, so 2v1 potentially. If that happens, then I'll try and fall back if I can, get to like cover somewhere safe, or try and get back to where my squad is. So then you have, you know, 2 guns versus 1 on the enemy, as opposed to 2 guns versus you, because it's really hard to do that way. Now, if you do have to take the fight with, you know, 2 people versus you can do this. There is ways to do it. It is really hard though, guys. Same as like a 1v3, but you have to split them up. You can't take 2 at once. So you have to find a way to do that. So even if you do fall out back and get cover, you can reassess and then go from there. And high ground, guys, high ground advantages is also always a great one. You probably already know this, but I can't stress it enough. If you do hold that high ground, you probably will win that fight like most of the time. So always try and go for that high ground when you're repositioning somewhere, or make it common sense, or, you know, like a second nature just to get to where a high ground is. Big tip number 5, rotations. So guys, rotations is a pretty big one and can definitely give you advantages over enemy squads, especially if you get set up on a good spot and on an early rotation. And you can also do things like gatekeeping and things like that if you choose. Late rotations are also fine. But like the good way to do late rotations, or the way we like to do late rotations, is say if we landed at Overlook and then we rotated across to Refinery to check it out and see what's going on there, maybe if there's a bit more loot on whatever. If the next circle from there is at Capital City, then we will always like kind of backtrack where we were and go around. It's less predictable and it's a bit safer. So we were at Overlook, we came around to Refinery, all within that one, you know, circle. We still have time, and then we'll kind of backtrack back to around near where Overlook is, because we just come from there, we know it's safe, and then into Capital City. Pretty much what this does, like if we were to go straight and choose the shortest route and follow the line on the mini-map straight into Capital, we can probably come across another squad that's going to be at Epicenter, or maybe there was people at Epicenter but they've just got into Capital, so we're just kind of following behind them. and that pretty much means that we're going to get gate kept if we do that. So the fact that we took a little bit more time to kind of, you know, go around to the left back towards Overlook and then come in from the side is, one, is less predictable if the enemy squad knows that we're there and going to be coming in this way, and two, we kind of know it's a bit safer and we can kind of plan it a little bit better from there. So planning rotations is always good, and that's kind of like one of the things that we like to do on late ones. When you're in 1v1s or gunfire, strafing. Tip number 6 is an awesome thing to do. So you can practice this in the firing range, guys. Get good at hitting your shots and moving left to right or right, left, and just kind of mix it up. But as long as you're moving, it's harder for the enemy to hit you. So strafing is always a great habit to get into. Maybe throw a crouch in there or two, but it's always good not to take crouch for too long unless you're Revenant and got high speed like crouch mobility. It's better to kind of move left and right and then maybe crouch, but just quickly, don't stay crouched, because obviously then you're very slow, and once they kind of get the aim crosshair tracked on you, it's easier for them to knock you down. So, but moving left and right, make it harder for the enemy. Give them hell, guys. Big tip number 7, utilizing of cover, blocking flanks and line of sight. So this is a great one. Like, you can see what I'm doing here, guys. I'm making it less predictable for them because I'm changing my position. Like, I'm shooting over here and then I'm moving over to the right and I'm shooting from there. So they probably already have their crosshairs on the left, and then I move to the right, and they can't really keep up. It's a bit less predictable, but I'm always kind of going in between cover or trying to cover my flanks as I'm fighting enemies. So there's people on my left, I've just covered it with that big wall there. There's people on my right now, and they're covered with that wall. And this is a great way to win more fights. You know, you take less damage when you got a bit of cover, or you know what's going on around you. Big tip number 8, aim and hip fire. So hip firing is a great way to get some damage on your enemy, and doing some strafes to be able to dodge bullets at the same time, because you move a lot quicker while you're shooting, and so like hip firing and moving left and right as opposed to what you do if you're aiming down the sights and moving left and right. You move a lot slower when you're aiming down the sights. So hip firing can be great. You take less damage and you get the damage on them, get the knock, and your aim in general, you know, it's always great to practice your aim and spend a bit of time in the firing range, because the better your aim is, at the end of the day, guys, like, the more knocks you're going to get, the more fights you're going to win, because you have the better aim. So always keep up to date and practice that. And last but not least, communication, the ping system and your mini map. So communication is huge, guys. Whether you're talking on a microphone, it's always better to do that, or using the ping system. You know, if you're going in for a fight somewhere, like, tell your teammates, ping it, say I'm attacking here, or watching over there because you think you've seen something, or there might be enemies over there, or you're looting. Like, this all helps. Like, a good set of headphones as well can let you know what's happening around you. Learning what footsteps are what, that's always good to know who you're going to be fighting and going up against, can prepare you a little bit better. I always like to watch my mini map on the left there, up the top left, like, especially if my teammates are pinging stuff, then I can kind of see where things are like a bit easier, and find it and pinpoint in that location. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you guys out. If it has, drop a like and subscribe. Yeah, tell me what you think in the comment section, and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening or night, guys. So, Clench Snail out. Peace.
Medkit here.
Making him out with a decoy. Recharging shields.
Last member's down. One squad closer to winning.
Spotted one. Shields are recharging.
Shield, syringe here.
I've deployed. We should conduct a search right here. My shields are recharging.
Medkit here.
Spotted the subject. Firing. Bad news. I'm down.
Enemy down.
Spotted the subject. I got a bad guy. Got one here. Let's go in this area.
Reloading. Whole squad's recharging my shields.
We should go here.
This won't hurt. Hold on.
Yep, you're wonderful. Thank you. Recharging shields.
1 second. We got this.
I appreciate appreciate your assistance.
Let's go this way.
Give him my shield to recharge. Administering. I have a subject in view. Barrel stabilizer here. Level 4.
Catching myself up.
It's Deuce
Heard that.
o'clock.
Target spotted.
Reloading.
Arc star out.
Placing gas trap. Firing.
Might be something good this way. Target spotted.
Subject spotted. I smell victory. It smells metallic.
Throwing thermite grenade.
Independent variable added.
Enemy spotted.
Frag out.
Reloading.
Throwing through my grenade.
Attacking there.
Package being delivered.
Those care packages
Target over there.
There's one in our favor. Spotted a subject over there.
Moving in here. Going to check out right here.
Foot traffic's been through here.
Hold tight. I'm gonna defend this area.
Placing gas trap. Deployed. Opening fire. Enemy spotted. He looks small. Shot at. Take a deep breath.
You're being aimed at. There may be a shooter nearby. Let's go this way.
A second squad is firing at me. Placing gas trap. Down enemy. Subject spotted. Enemy spotted. Enemy killed. I took care of it, don't worry.
Reloading.
Gas trap deployed. Recharging.
Reloading. I downed an enemy. Knowledge is power and pain.
Healing my wounds.
This didn't have to happen. But it did. Yes, I made it through.
Give him my shield to recharge.
I need light ammo. Thermite grenade here. Sniper stock. Shotgun bolt here. Level 3.
Ring's close. 1 more minute. Give him my shield to recharge.
You know what I look like. Come find me. Ring's not too far. 45 left.
Independent variable added. Gas trap deployed.
Let's explore this way.
Placing gas trap. Pay attention, gang. Not far from the ring. We got 30 seconds left.
The fight's on. Over there. I need light ammo.
Tick-tock,
Heavy
10
ammo here.
seconds. At least the ring's close. Light ammo here.
Dibs. Watching that spot.
Warning.
Got one spotted.
Okay.
Care package.
Opening fire.
Package coming in. Reloading. Frag out.
Placing gas trap. Firing. Reloading. Down
We
the
should go
subject.
here. You're in their
Gas trap
sights.
deployed. We're being targeted by squads. Placing gas trap.
Airstrike. Let's go this way.
Recharging shield.
We should go here. Going to area.
Subject deceased. Shields are recharging.
Keeping my eyes here.
4. Beginning ring countdown.
Administering medical aid. Recharging shields.
Enemy spotted.
Just gotta
Listen,
patch myself
I'm
up.
moving
Hang
in
on.
on some enemies there. Need to recharge my shields. Listen, let's move here.
Firing.
Danger, move.
Getting shot at.
Another squad's attacking. Focus.
I think that was the whole squad.
Patching myself. Hostile right here.
Taking fire. Rings in close proximity. One more. Take a deep.
Void jumping.
Bring medical aid.
Need to recharge my shields.
Variable. Recharging shields. Throwing frag.
Taking shots.
Thermite.
Enemy down.
Recharging shields.
Recharging my shields. Here it ends.